Welcome back to Maverick's Arcade. Today we're going to be starting a video series on the Pixelcade LED Marquee. I originally heard about this device years ago when I was browsing some forums, and I saw this arcade with this beautiful display displaying the name of the video game that was being played, and I was like, where is this? I want one for my arcade. Come to find out, everybody else in the thread was saying the same thing. They want one. Unfortunately, it was a passion project by its creator, and it was not available for the market. Luckily for us, he's now developed that into a marketable product. He has a couple of devices pre-configured for various systems, including Arcade1UP machines, Rec Room Masters 32-inch, a AT Games Legends Ultimate, and a few others. Now, if you built your own arcade machine, don't worry, he's got you covered as well. You can go to his website, enter in your custom dimensions, and he will build a set just for your machine. Make sure to watch for future videos as we're going to be going through that process to replace the screen on our large arcade. I'm also really excited because this is a first for my channel. I have had reviews in the past with companies that I already had relationships with, but this is the first time that a vendor reached out to me that I did not formally have a relationship with to review one of their products. So this is great news for the channel, and I want to try to keep growing it so we can get more products to review. For full transparency, I do want to say that this is not a sponsored video. This is a review of the product. Now, I did receive the product in order to review it, but it is not otherwise sponsored, which is why you do not see the paid sponsorship or anything like that on the video. Again, just want to be very transparent with that. So as always, even if I find instructions already made or videos that already exist, if the information isn't all together, I like to make my own video to be able to share that and provide the instructions with my own style and my own methods of getting the install accomplished. I was planning on doing that here. However, when I reviewed the instructions on the site, I realized things weren't matching up exactly as I expected, and they didn't seem to match my arcade. It was then I realized why. At the time of this video, the instructions on the website are not there for the illuminated displays, and it does say clearly, to be fair, that it is for Gen 1 arcade cabinets only and does not include the Gen 2 illuminated displays or the Big Blue series machines. So this is perfect. I'm going to show you how to install the marquee on an NBA Jam Tournament Edition Arcade1UP machine with an illuminated display. If the marquees are set up the same in other illuminated Arcade1UP machines, then these instructions will work there as well. So before we start putting things together, let's take a quick inventory of what came with the product.
What's in the box? What's in the f***ing box?
Damn, okay. So when you receive your package, it should include a packing list like this one. In my packing list, let's just walk through the items here. We should have an assembled marquee for the Arcade1UP, which has all the wiring and everything already ready to go for it. It should also have a piece of plexiglass like this, the larger piece, and it should be covered in this protective film that we will take off before installing it. It should also have another piece of plexiglass that's a little bit smaller. Now this will go on top when we're finished. It should also include these 4 spacers. They should have the letter C on it, like that. So make sure you have 4 of those. And then we have a couple of little pieces here. We have 2 little wood screws, and then we have 3 pan head screws, and then we have these little tiny screws with an Allen key, and this will be to actually attach the plexiglass to the front of the dot matrix display that's pretty much the last step of the install. So you may have noticed that I had listed the power supply, but I didn't actually talk about it yet. And that was actually on purpose to see if you're paying attention. What we want to make sure of is that this power supply, which is a 5-volt, 10-amp power supply, gets a label on it immediately. Before you go any further, label this thing. I would like you to put a label on here that says Pixelcade. The cord should be okay because it, is the only thing that will fit in there, and it's just straight power, so that really doesn't matter. But make sure to label the block as Pixelcade and label the end of the cord with a label that says Pixelcade. The reason why is because as you have all the various cables inside the arcade from you working on it and configuring it, we want to make sure that you do not ever plug any device that is not this specific power supply into that Pixelcade. The device is very sensitive. A lot of the power cords that are very similarly sized, like the ones inside an Arcade1UP machine, if plugged into the Pixelcade, will burn out the components. So make sure, and maybe even put a label on the back of the Pixelcade saying, make sure it is the Pixelcade only. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Make labels, put it on the block. Save yourself from burning up a very beautiful device. Now back on to the instructions. So on a normal Gen 2 panel, there's 2 screws that hold this piece in. And there's a peg on this side and a peg on this side. Then on each side, there is 2 pegs and 1 screw that goes through and locks in with this. So again, 2 pegs, 2 screws from here go into here. There's 2 pegs on the side, and a screw goes from the side, which holds the marquee up. So all we have to do is remove the 2 side screws, remove the 2 back screws, loosen the side panel. You do not have to remove the side panel, just loosen it on each side. Then you can pull them apart to get those pegs to clear, and then pull the panel out from the bottom, and it will pop out. Then go ahead and remove the pegs. So when I go to take the spacer against this, you can immediately see the problem, that the holes for the new marquee do not line up with the old one. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully line up and make sure that it's lined up perfectly. And then mark the positions on the cabinet. And then very carefully, using a drill bit that fits the old hole, we're going to drill in the new holes very shallow. Make sure not to drill these too deep. When finished, make sure that they line up. You can see the holes line up pretty well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the first pan head screw and we're going to put it just barely inside the hole on this first piece. We're going to take all 4 spacers and line them up and put them over that middle hole. And basically, we're just going to drill through, or very slowly drill through until the head exposes on the other side. Be very slow on this. You don't want to risk breaking the display. So don't go too fast. You'll risk cracking the plastic or plexi. So as you can see on this piece, we're just starting to protrude here. That's where you want to be. Now that we've got the main part threaded, the rest should go on pretty straight, but again, still stay pretty slow so you don't risk damaging the screen. We're going to just do this side here. Again, make sure all the pieces are lined up. Get it started manually just to make sure everything stays safe. Go nice and slow. Let it thread. Occasionally feel to see if it's starting to go through, and you can see it's starting to poke through on this side. Now we're going to flip it over and do the last side and get it ready. And again, this is with the last pan head screw. Getting it, just pre-staging it. Again, don't want to go too fast. I don't want to risk that. You also don't want to risk the the drill slipping and landing on one of those pixels, because these are very sensitive, very easy to break if you smash something on it. So just be very careful. Now you can see each side's protruding. So we're now going to go ahead and tighten up the base 3 screws. I'm going to put that there. we're going to bring this up here, and we're going to visually make sure that the holes lining up. I'm going to start with the middle. So as you can see with the 4 spacers, it is automatically in the right position for the most part. You want to make sure that this wood block is in within line of these holes, and then screw in through the side to go through this block. Do this on both sides. You see it's not going anywhere. All right, so at this point, take out the little screws. We're going to remove the plastic or the film from the plexiglass very carefully. Make sure to pull from this downward motion. It makes it a lot easier. And do the same on the other side. Now very carefully, bring the plexi up to there. You're going to finger tighten in the holes. So as you can see, the installation is pretty straightforward. You just have to make sure to drill those 3 pilot holes so that the frame will fit between the cabinet versions. I am going to send those measurements back to Al so that he can possibly incorporate that into his design, you know, the holes being in a different position for a newer cabinet. Also, one thing that was really cool is when I received the product and I was thinking about all the cool things I'll be able to do with it. I thought about the in-game animations, because you guys know, like with my other video in the link below, with LEDBlinky making the lights go crazy for the place game, I was like, how can I use this marquee to do that? Well, it turns out that feature isn't currently supported at the time of making this video, but I reached out to Arzoo, who makes LEDBlinky, and I said, hey, what about doing this? And we threw back and forth a couple of programming ideas on how that could be accomplished. And I'm glad to say he's got a beta for me to test. So there'll be also in a very near future an LEDBlinky update video coming out for another feature that I've requested that he's put into this device. So make sure to follow, like, subscribe, leave comments. That all helps, you know, get this information going, make the channel grow a little more, and give me more opportunities like this one to show you guys how some pretty cool stuff. And again, thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.